Hey, we are on to topic 4. This is unit 8, sorry. And topic 4, we are doing more graphing quadratic functions, but now we are graphing from standard form. And standard form just means that when you look at the equation, so here's an equation, f of x equals, standard form is when we do not see the parentheses in the problem at all, we just see an exponent of 2, an x squared, and then there's a middle term of x and a third term at the end. So essentially, last topic, we graphed from factored form. All that we are going to do is take this standard form equation, and step 1 just says factor it. And once it's factored, we're going to follow the steps from topic 3. All right, so to factor is what we do. First term goes here, last term goes here, and then I go like this. 1 times negative 3, I get negative 3. So I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to get negative 3, but add up to get our middle term, negative 2. And I just have to think about what those numbers are. And I know those numbers are negative 3 and positive 1. They multiply to get negative 3. If you add them, you get negative 2. Those two values go inside the box, and they get an x. And the last step is just to complete the outside of the box. So I have x and x. X times negative 3 gives me negative 3x, x times 1. And then last step, check these boxes, and that works out. 1 times negative 3. All right, so this is my factored form. I'm going to really big and clear in this space right here write my factored form. F of x equals, parentheses, x minus 3, parentheses, x plus 1. That's very important. That is what we're going to use going forward to graph. All right, so to graph from factored form, it says follow the steps from graphing in factored form, which is topic number 3. Okay, so topic number 3, step 1, I'm going to just write really briefly here. I'm going to find the zeros, and I'm going to do that by taking my 1 factor, x minus 3, setting it equal to 0, add 3 to both sides, and I get x equals 3. And then I'm going to take my other factor, x plus 1, set it equal to 0, subtract 1, and I get x equals negative 1. Okay, so that means my zeros are positive 3, 0, negative 1, 0. Okay, next step, I'm going to write axis of symmetry, my axis, and I'm going to find in between the zeros. So I'm just going to count from negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if I count 2 spaces, I will end up right here. I'm going to draw my axis of symmetry, and it's at the x value of 1, so I'm going to write x equals 1. Okay, the next thing we do is vertex, and I'm going to say plug in 1, because that's my value from right there. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 1. Where am I going to plug it into? My factored form. It's going to look like this. 1 minus 3, 1 plus 1. And what I'm really finding is I'm really finding this, f of 1. Okay, so 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 1 plus 1 is positive 2. I get negative 4. That means the point I plot is 1 comma negative 4. I'm going to put that immediately actually into my table, 1, negative 4. And it should be right on the vertex, or right on the axis of symmetry. Okay, last step. I'm going to find my y-intercept. And to do that, I'm going to plug in 0. And I'm going to plug it into my factored form again. So I'm going to do f of 0, and that's 0 minus 3, 0 plus 1. So I get negative 3 times 1, that is negative 3. That means my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 3. I'm going to put it actually right here, 0, comma, negative 3. Because I'm doing that because I can see that the x values line up. And I'm going to plot 0, comma, negative 3 right here. I'm going to use symmetry to find the point on the other side of the axis of symmetry. that's 2 comma negative 3, and I'll connect those. The last thing I'm going to do is just complete the rest of my table I'm going to put 3 comma 0 and negative 1 comma 0, and we're done.